Mm.
All right. Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today to learn more about Library Leadership Ohio. As you all maybe just heard, we are going to be recording the information session today, and you'll have access to that recording. And we'll also be sharing the recording, and you can share with colleagues. So it's a good reference if you have questions as you're um, looking into applying for the program. So, the State Library of Ohio and OhioNet are really excited to offer Library Leadership Ohio in 2024 in person, the first time since 2018. My name is Erin Kelsey, and I'm a library consultant at the State Library of Ohio. I've been at the State Library for about 5 years, and I help facilitate leadership programs like Library Leadership Ohio and I Lead Ohio, along with other continuing education opportunities. Um, so we have a few slides to share today. I'm going to kind of go over our agenda. One second. Okay. So first, let's kick it off with our planning team. I just wanted them all to introduce themselves, and then we'll go from there. Um, Jeff, do you want to start us off?
Oh, sure. Thank you, Aaron. My name's Jeff Regensberger. I am a library consultant at the State Library of Ohio and the LSTA coordinator. So I manage all the LSTA grant funds that the State Library of Ohio gets and disperses across the state. Also, I am an alumni of Library Leadership Ohio. I was in the class of 2006 and have been serving on the planning team for Library Leadership Ohio since 2012.
Great. Jillian?
Hi there. I'm Jillian Tuttle. I'm the communications manager at OhioNet, and I had the pleasure of helping with Library Leadership Ohio a little bit in 2020 for the 2021 cohort. So I'm excited for another great round of LLO and all of the speakers and programming.
Hannah?
Hi, my name is Hannah Rosen. I'm the newish Director of Member Programs here at OhioNet. It'll be a year in April, and this is my first opportunity to work with LLO, and it's really exciting. Thank you.
Penelope? I can't see you, but I hope you're here.
I'm here.
Hi.
It says that I'm Erin Kelsey, and just so you know, but I'm Penelope, um, not Erin. And I'm a library consultant here at the State Library as well. And I participated in LLO in 2020, so the pandemic year when they all transitioned to being online. They did a really good job for expecting it to be in person and then putting it all online. So that's a good.
And Katie.
Hello. I noticed we were all Aaron Kelsey today, so
Yeah.
I changed myself back.
The world needed
I
more Aaron
There's
Kelseys
so
today.
many errands. We were so blessed with a million errands today. I love it. I am not Erin Kelsey. I'm Katie Height. I am the newest library consultant. My focus is going to be on adult services. First time being on this planning committee, obviously, and I'm really looking forward to, hearing what questions folks have. So I hope please ask them. And thanks.
I also wanted to mention that Associate State Librarian Evan Struble is on the planning team, and he's not with us today, but he is on the planning team. Um, and I forgot to share that I went through the program in 2016. So today we're going to be talking about, give a little LLO history and overview of the program. I'll talk about how to apply, what the time and date commitments are. I think we've got some alumni here today who are going to share their experiences, and then we'll have lots of time for questions. So really excited to get started. Jeff, you want to take it from here?
Yes, thank you so much, Aaron, and thanks Planning Committee, and thanks all of the participants that are here today. That's a robust list of people I saw there. It's exciting to see this much interest in the program. Um, yeah, the history and overview, as the slide suggests, Library Leadership Ohio has been part of Ohio Libraries and the work that they do since 1993, and that was when the first class convened. I feel like that alone makes Library Leadership Ohio the premier leadership program for the Ohio library community. I mean, that's a legacy right there. And since that time, and while a lot has changed, Library Leadership Ohio has worked to support Ohio libraries basically by developing great leaders. That's what this is all about. Kind of going back a little bit in the Wayback Machine, the original iteration of Library Leadership Ohio was a 5-day off-site event that was held at the Inn at Honey Run in Millersburg, Ohio. And there were, basically people across the library community who believed that this kind of leadership programming would be of benefit to Ohio libraries. And at that time, using consultants Becky Schreiber and John Shannon of Schreiber Shannon Associates, Library Leadership Ohio really focused on, I think, what you'd call the next generation of leaders and those people who were newer to the profession. And in fact, the early iterations, eligibility was limited to individuals with less than 10 years experience in libraries. And that goes a ways to explaining how I got in. I had started in the profession in 1997, and I saw my time was running out, so I made sure that I applied in the for the 2006 class. At the time when the original version was going on, the costs for these sessions was largely absorbed by the participating libraries. And at a certain point, that model became unsustainable. And the initiative took a pause basically after the 2008 session, even though many folks, I think, recognized the need for this kind of content and this kind of leadership programming, and that need still existed in the community. So thanks to a partnership between the State Library of Ohio, OhioNet, and with the help of LSTA funds available through the Institute of Museum and Library Services, library leadership was able to relaunch after that break and relaunch in 2012, and has basically been going strong ever since. A couple folks have alluded to the fact that we weren't always able to meet in person during the pandemic, but we're excited to be going back in person again. So I think the things that have remained consistent across the program, even though it has gone through a lot of changes, it's still held every other year now in even years. The immersive overnight retreat-like quality of Library Leadership Ohio, I think, is still foundational to the program. So too is the emphasis on providing participants with the chance to grow personally and professionally, while also making, really meaningful connections in the Ohio library community. I think it's also worth noting that the results of Library Leadership Ohio have been consistent. And what I mean by that is, if you browse through the list of Library Leadership Ohio alumni, and you'll find now hundreds of people who are doing amazing work, who have made Ohio libraries great, and who continue to make Ohio libraries great. In that sense, the proof really is in the pudding, and it is amazing to be part of something with this kind of legacy and impact. One last thing that I'll share that's been consistent throughout the history of LLO is this: the application and selection process for participants remains a competitive one. And Aaron is going to share some details now about how to apply and what to expect when you apply.
All right, thank you, Jeff. Good segue. So I'm going to talk about how to apply. We have a website for the program, libraryleadershipohio.org, and you can find everything that you need to know on the website, including the link to apply. So the application period opened on Tuesday, and you'll have until 11:59 p.m. on Wednesday, March 20th to submit your application. So you'll have a couple weeks to get documents together and think about your responses to essay questions. When you click the link from our apply page on libraryleadershipohio.org, you'll be taken to the application form, and you'll have to submit the following documents. You'll have to submit your resume, a cover letter, and then either a Word or PDF document that has your essay question responses. This year, there are 3 essay questions, and you'll see that each one has a word limit. So you'll have to, curate every word to get what you want to say across in those 250 words for questions 1 and 2, or 150 words for question 3. And in the past, essay questions have kind of changed and evolved as libraries and what is, topics of the moment have changed and evolved. So those are the essay questions. It's a pretty simple application form. It's just uploading those documents. If you did need to save, I believe that you can. Is that correct, Hannah? I hope I'm not misspeaking. If you needed to save, you could, or no?
You actually cannot. So you
Okay,
have to
sorry.
do you have to do the
One fell
whole
swoop. Just
the application. It takes less than 5 minutes
yeah.
to fill out. So just make sure that your attachments are ready and you can submit them all at once.
Thank you. Thank you for correcting me. Okay. And so the only requirement to apply is that you're currently working in an Ohio library. So you can be a public library, academic, school, special library. There is no requirement to have your MLS or any sort of level of leadership in your organization. You just have to be working at an Ohio library. So a little bit more about the timeline of applications and the review process. The application closes, like I said, on 11:59 p.m. on March 20th. And after that, all applications will be reviewed by a team of reviewers. The reviewers are a mix of Library Leadership Ohio alumni and Ohio library professionals from lots of types of libraries as well. And after the review process, we hope to let everyone know mid to late May if you've been accepted to the 2024 cohort. So that is how to apply. And then as far as the time and date commitment, we'll let you know mid to late May, like I said, and the program will be held July 23rd through the 25th at Cherry Valley Hotel in Newark. There's no cost for the program. As Jeff had mentioned in the past, there has been a cost associated, but this year we've been fortunate to be able to cover that cost with LSTA grant funds. So the only thing that a cohort member would need to do is to be able to get themselves to Newark, Ohio, July 23rd through the 25th. And participants will also have their own room. So that's something to note. And like Jeff had said, this is meant to be a retreat-like kind of immersive experience. So a common question is, if I live nearby, can I go home? And the answer is no. So we hope that this, departure from maybe your personal and professional life will allow you to kind of take that step away and focus on yourself and your personal and professional development. And that immersive experience really lends itself to creating connections and networking. And of course, we'll give you time to have breaks and have some alone time to process all the interesting things you'll be learning. So next, we have some alumni who are here to share their stories. So I am going to kick it over to Katie to go to the next part.
Sure. So I don't know, are we able to give camera access to anyone, or can
Yeah,
we
so we
do,
just need
okay.
to make whichever attendees are alumni, just make them a panelist,
All
and then
right.
they should be able to access their camera and microphone.
I don't know if I have the option to do that. I just see attendees in the list. I can call out people if you like. I see that we have, at my calculation, we have 7 folks on.
Yep, tell me who you want and
All
I will make
right.
them a panelist.
Okay, alumni, I'm going to call you out here and you're going to be ready. Get ready for your cameras to come up. So we have Kathleen Grossman.
Is
Then-
that from RRPL?
Correct.
Okay.
We have Amanda Toth from Lane Libraries.
Okay.
Drew Wichterman from Pickaway County. Allison Knight from Dayton Metro. Brock Hutchison from Louisville Public Library. And Charlotte Droll from Bloomsburg University.
Okay, what was the last one?
Charlotte Droll from Bloomsburg.
Oh, there we go.
Okay. And
All
if there are
right.
any other alumni that I didn't see in the chat or in the participant list, please forgive me, drop a message or chat, and we'll get you on too. So I'm just going to go by who I see first and ask you to introduce yourself and tell us 1 or 2 sentences about your experience at LLO and your current title and position. So Kathleen, would you mind sharing?
Hi, I'm Kathleen Grossman. I am currently the Children's Services Supervisor at Rocky River Public Library. I was part of the 2021 cohort, so we were completely virtual. And it was a really great experience in my time, because even though we were virtual, there was a lot of interaction between all the staff that was attending, all the participants. And we learned a lot from the leaders of the different, there were breakouts and there were talks, and it was a great experience to meet other people, but also to get guidance on how to better position yourself to learn as a leader.
Excellent. That's great. Thank you. All right, Amanda, would you mind sharing your experience, your title, and anything else you'd like to share?
Yeah, hi everyone. So I'm Amanda Toth. I actually currently am the tech center manager for the Lane Libraries, but I actually just got promoted. I will be the Fairfield branch manager. Thank you.
Yay!
Starting next month, so that's exciting. I also was completely virtual for my program, and I just want to say how amazing of a job they did to make us be able to, communicate well. I really don't feel like I missed out on too much with it being virtual. And I learned so much. I really appreciate that there was an emphasis on you can be a leader even if you're not in management or a supervisor. Because leader is about, pushing for that positive change, being the change you want to see, doing the work that needs to be done. And I loved that when we broke out into groups, there was a mix of people from different levels in the library, as well as different library sizes. That was a huge help because, eventually sometimes our careers take us to different library systems, different cities, and having that, hearing those stories and having those experiences were great.
That's excellent. Thank you so much. And Hannah, I'm actually going to have you add 1 more person. Melissa Detweiler is also here on the call. Thank you. All right, next I'm going to go down on my list and we have Charlotte Droll. If you wouldn't mind letting us know about your experience, please.
Yes, my name is Charlotte Droll, and I had to look in my resume to find out that I was from 2004, an alumna. So this makes it my 20th anniversary. I only just, recently realized that. I am a director of the Andrus Library, which is on the Bloomsburg campus of Commonwealth University of Pennsylvania. So I really enjoyed my time being part of OhioLink, and I'm sorry to have have left Ohio for that reason. But so I am in Pennsylvania. So the Library Leadership Ohio has spread. In other words, its influence. The institution is part of an integration of 3 state system schools, so you may have read about that in the news. I underscore that point. And as far as the experience, I'll echo the other speakers that it was, yeah, it was a very good experience. It was inspirational to be around people who were really smart, really engaged, really trying to work to improve themselves, the profession, just very inspirational. It was not easy. It was actually at certain points emotionally very hard. So I just want to, put that out there. I remember that from 20 years ago. I remember that. I also remember being really impressed. I don't know how the program works now. There were a couple, 2, 3 professional guest speakers who kind of gave testimonials, advice, etc. And I remember them talking about, in the parts I remember, the things that were really difficult for them. So I really appreciated, their candor, as well as the inspiration that came from them and their encouragement. So it's absolutely a positive, I really encourage people to apply. It was something that's been important to me. If not, I can't say, oh, I got this job or I did this thing because of that, but I know that it's informed and given me confidence in all of my interactions. So go for it. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And speaking of crossing state lines with our influence of Library Leadership Ohio, I'm going to ask Brock to go next. Brock, can you introduce yourself, please?
Sure. So thank you. My name is Brock Hutchison. I'm director of Louisville Public Library, and we are in Ohio, Katie. So we're just a small town.
Wrong Louisville. My
I'm
bad.
certainly not as impressive as Louisville
You're
Public
not in
Library. Much
Kentucky.
smaller. I attended library leadership in 2014. I found it to be really a transformational experience. I knew I wanted to be a library director, and I met a lot of people there that I still am, still am friends with, still talk to. A few people from the Stark County Library. I didn't hang out with Drew Wichterman there, but we are friends now, and we were in the same class. And we're both library directors now, so it's great to have. I feel like a lot of these people, when you go through something like this with a project with people, you're kind of in the foxhole together, and so it does kind of bond you. And it's been neat over the last 10 years to kind of grow with these same folks. So my words of encouragement would be to get to know the people around you. You're going to all be in the same profession together for a while. And I really feel I've benefited from those relationships.
Great. Thank you so much. All right. Well, since you were called out, Drew, I'm going to ask you to go next and share your experience, please.
I guess I have to.
And I know you're in Ohio.
I am in Ohio. Yeah. Thanks, Katie. So hi, everybody. My name is Drew Wichterman. I'm the director at the Pickaway County Library, and I was the class of 2020. So Brock, we weren't the same class of LLO, but Brock and I have a goofy, forgive us, connection of we went to Muskingum University together.
That's right, Drew. I'm getting mixed up.
Sorry.
That was the other experience we did together.
He's a busy guy, so it's all good. But it's been fun to reconnect with him as we, we're both history majors and now we're both library directors. So, small world, it happens. So anyways, for Library Leadership Ohio, of course, with my class being the virtual, we've got to shift things. I was extremely impressed with how quickly and how agile they were with, because that was we're actually having to teach people how to use Zoom and trying to figure out all that virtual stuff. And then it was, we've got to change everything. So I was thrilled that they chose not to cancel it or change it other than making it virtual. For me, it was the encouragement to take the next steps in my career, which definitely leads to where I am now. The positions and volunteer things and other stuff that I've done in the library world. I can credit with, Library Leadership Ohio giving me the skills to take on some of those extra roles and responsibilities. So, I am grateful to the program for what it provided me. And I would echo what, the other alums have said, where it's great to see, you may not have been in the same class, but you're seeing how we're growing and developing and, taking those next steps in our careers, So it's good to, see that as what this program's been able to do for, as I think Jeff said, hundreds of people now. So thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right, Melissa, would you like to go next? Melissa Detweiler.
Yes, that would be fine.
Thank you.
I was part of the 2012 class, so a while ago, and I was a school librarian at the time. So there were probably only 3 or 4 of us in the group. Everyone else was public library or academic library. But I learned so much from the group of people. They were just a very diverse group, very interesting set of people. And I specifically remember one session on negotiating, and they specifically addressed women negotiating. And that was something that I thought about when I changed jobs. I just recently started at Terra State Community College, and so I actually put some of those things into play as I was negotiating for this job. So I never thought I would use it, but I did. So I would encourage even school librarians who may have a hard time being on this website or this webinar right now, but I would certainly encourage anyone to try it. There's a lot of information to gain, a lot of wonderful people to meet. And I would just really encourage everyone. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. And we have Allison Knight. Hi, Allison.
Hi, everyone. My name is Allison Knight, she, her. I'm the Youth Services and Programming Director at the Dayton Metro Library, and I attended Library Leadership Ohio in 2016 as a children's librarian. And since then, I've been a branch manager. I was a director at a small rural library for a little while, and now I'm back with Dayton Metro in my current role. So I definitely think that the skills that I learned helped me progress and grow and find new opportunities. As far as the program itself, I really appreciated the retreat aspect. So I know when Erin said, even if you live close by, you need to spend the night. It is super valuable to just get away from everything else and be able to focus. So I appreciated that. The other thing that I really appreciated was, I've done some other leadership development programs through chambers or through other associations. And I really appreciate that this one is library specific and it's also Ohio library specific. So it really does give you a unique viewpoint and a very niche experience that will serve you if you're progressing in your career in libraries, especially here in Ohio.
Great. Thank you so much. All right. I believe that's all the alumni we had signed in. If you're here and I missed you, my apologies. You can send me a chat and we'll try to get your input. But we really appreciate all of you taking the time to share your experiences. And I hope for those of you considering applying that you'll kind of take those testimonials to heart. All right, Erin, I'll turn it back over to you. Thanks, everyone.
Great. Thank you so much, alumni, for sharing. I think it's just great to see you all and hear from you and how LLO helped and enhanced perhaps your career. So that is all the information, the formal information that we have for today. But now I want to open it up to questions, and we do have questions that have already been submitted in the chat, so I can just start going through those. The first question is, how many people are accepted? That's a good question. Approximately 30 will be accepted. So and I think that's on average about what a LLO cohort has been in the past. So the other question is, oh, sorry. Oh, when making selections for Library Leadership Ohio 2024, does the panel have a limit of selecting one person per agency? For example, if 3 people applied from generic public library and all were being considered, would the panel select only one of those candidates? We have been using kind of a rule that 2 people per institution, just to make sure we give those from bigger institutions a chance, but also so it's a diverse group of folks and not a majority from a certain institution. So next question is it open to participants with more than 10 years of library experience? It is. You can have 6 months experience, you can have 10 years, you can have 20, you can have 5. It doesn't, there's no stipulation on that anymore. That was a stipulation in the past that you had to be kind of in the first 10 years of your career. But that's no longer. So what is the arrival time on the 23rd, and what time does the program conclude on the 25th? We're still kind of in the planning stages of the official agenda, but right now, the kickoff will be a lunch, so noon on the 23rd, and it will conclude in the late afternoon on the 25th. I don't have the exact time of the end time, but lunchtime on the 23rd through the 25th. It'll be almost a full day. So you mentioned that the application process is very competitive. Is there anything in particular the team of reviewers is looking for in the applications? That is a good question, and I will start answering it, but I will also ask that if my planning team members have anything they want to add, please do. I would say, you know, really being thoughtful and concise in how you're answering your essay questions. 250 words is not that much. So how are you able to really communicate your answer, your feelings about something in a organized, concise, thoughtful way? And then we are looking, for a diverse group of folks. So we'll have, hopefully, in our applicant pool, we'll have a good amount of folks from different types of libraries. So that is a consideration. But there is a
I can jump in here too,
yeah,
Erin,
go
if
ahead,
you want.
Jillian. Yeah.
So on the Library Leadership Ohio website, and I'm going to put the link in the chat here if anyone's curious. But in 2020, we did work with an advisory committee, and we talked about this definition of a transformative leader. And that's something I think to take into consideration when you apply as well. So there's more about what being considered a transformative leader is in that link. And then I will also drop a link in the chat too. We have an FAQ page on the website. So if you have follow-up questions or think of something else, it might be on that page. So, and I will mute myself because I have a very noisy cat in the background.
I wanted to add one more thing too. If you are able to have a colleague or a friend read your answers before you submit them, don't let small misunderstandings or misspellings get in the way of your meaning. So it's always good, even if you're a great writer, to have someone else look at your answers or take some time to proofread.
Thank you, guys. All right. Next question is, the first essay asks for pressing issues for Ohio libraries. Can I speak to my type of library specifically, college or school, or should I cover libraries on the whole? There is no wrong or right way to do this. So if you want to talk specifically about your type of library, do it, because I think it would be interesting to know a specific perspective of like, this is the most pressing issue for a school library right now, or an academic or public or whatever. Or if you want to be more general, you can do that too. So there's not a real I'm sorry, I'm not being super helpful, but there's not a real prescription of how you need to answer that question. You can go either way. Next question is the program limited to librarians? And no, you do not have to have a certain librarian title. You do not have to have an MLIS degree to be accepted or to apply. And you don't have to be, I think I said this, you don't have to be a certain title or level of management or anything like that. as one of the alumni said, the goal of Library Leadership Ohio, one of them is to have everybody realize what their strengths are and what they bring to the profession, to their organization, and how you can be a leader, a confident leader, and, affect change or bring great ideas to your organization, no matter your position.
Right. And I think kind of related to that, I don't necessarily want to speak out of turn, but I'm looking at a lot of the questions and people are clearly like thinking about the applications and people are clearly thinking about what's going to make like a good application. And I just want to stress this point at the front end, this idea of like it being competitive and it being limited to 30 people. That is purely a fiscal concern. That is the limits of the budget. We are not manufacturing false exclusivity here. We are not making, like honestly, if we could just open it up to everybody and do it we would, but the budget says this is how many people you're going to be able to take. And that's where, that's kind of how and why we draw the line. So good on everybody for like thinking about these things, but also remember that this is, as I said, we're not creating some false sense of scarcity here. It's simply a matter of what the numbers will allow for us.
Thank you, Jeff. That's helpful. I've got another question here. Is this just a 3-day event, or are there then ongoing time commitments, further training opportunities, etc., expected through the next 12 to 24 months? Just thinking of the time needed to commit to the ILS transition. So that's a great question. This is a standalone solo 3-day event. So you'll have some communication leading up to LLO about logistics and what to expect, and then some brief post communication after it's all done. But then it's really it's just that solo standalone program. There's no other expectations. Some cohorts have started, different communication channels to stay in touch. So there might be something like that, but that's more up to the cohort and more informal. It's not managed by any LLO planning team or anything like that. These are all really good questions. Thank you all. Is there any other questions out there? I'm counting to 10 in my head to give everybody a chance to type. Well, if you're typing a question right now, we will answer it. But I will vamp a little bit while just to kind of start wrapping things up. I think Jillian has dropped several links in the chat for the website. So there's a lot of information on the website that answers some of the questions that we've talked about already. The link to apply is on the website. There is a contact page and my email is on that page. So if you have questions after the fact, or if there's something that comes to mind, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm happy to answer questions as best I can. And yeah, I think that's all I wanted to make sure I mentioned. Well, if there's no other questions, I really appreciate you all tuning in today and answering or asking great questions. And we're really excited for Library Leadership Ohio 2024. Like I said, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out and share this far and wide with your colleagues. When you have access to the recording and when we share the recording, share out, and especially with maybe a school librarian or special librarian, that is often folks who maybe don't hear about it as much as maybe our academic and public library friends. So yeah, is there anything else that a planning team wants to share before
I'll just jump in and say I'll go ahead and upload this recording to OhioNet's YouTube channel.
Awesome.
But I will also include it on the LLO website under the apply page for anyone that wants to check it out. And that link will be like freely available. So like Erin said, please share it with people that you think would be a great fit.
Thank you, Jillian. That's awesome. Great. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in, and we're looking forward to seeing your applications come in, and reach out if you have any questions. Thanks so much for your time.